GM and GN, everybody. Uh, we're excited to welcome you to another Infinite Space Bazaar workshop. Today I'm joined by Leo from OWL Protocol. We're going to be learning about OWL Protocol today from Leo. Leo, if you want to introduce yourself, feel free.
Hello, everyone. My name's Leo. I'm the founder and CEO of OWL Protocol. Today, we're going to be mastering building applications on rollups via the OWL Protocol API. And we want to encourage devs to be able to build various interactions that kind of merge the boundaries between Web 2 and Web 3. So we'll be using our platform to launch smart contracts, no code, and then our Zapier plugin to connect various different plugins that can enable real-world use case. And the goal is for this to be a starting ground for you to think about various ideas where you could connect things like ticketing, gaming, real-world assets, etc.
Nice.
So as a brief introduction, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's the first time I've heard of Zapier being used with a rollup, so I'm really excited to learn. I'm going to go ahead and pass you the floor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, so as a brief introduction, I'll go over a few slides, but then we'll also jump into a live demo through my screen share. So in terms of the agenda, we'll go through OWL Protocol, then brief walkthrough, and then show you how to integrate automations via Zapier. So OWL Protocol, our goal is to enable Web3 use cases that scale. We have an API-first approach, which means that everything that you'll see in this no-code demo through Zapier or through our dashboard is also triggerable via simple REST APIs. Our solutions enable various integrations thanks to Zapier, but also other solutions that you can go through our docs. Our dashboard makes it very easy to have a big overview of a project and also add various team members to your team so that if you have a collaborative project, it enables interactions between team members. And then the magic behind OWL Protocol is these powered by ERC 4337. So we use account abstraction and MPC wallets to make this experience seamless both for the developer and the user. So one thing you'll notice is there will be very little interactions with any type of MetaMask or crypto. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't use those. It just means that to get set up, we handle a lot of this abstraction for you. And like I said, we want to connect Web2 integration. So a key part of that is oracles. One key differentiator of OWL Protocol is that we're not focused just on public chains. So when you go on our platform, you're able to launch on various public chains. We have our own testnet that's OP Stack Rollup with data availability on Celestia, powered by Caldera that we launched. It's called OWL Hedwig testnet, but that is just a playing ground. And you can also use various testnets. You can use the Gelato testnets. You can use any big public testnet. But the other solution you can use is self-serve, which means you can launch your own rollup, whether it's through a rollup as a provider or through various toolkits like Rollkit, and then have OWL Protocol's infrastructure work on your rollup automatically. You don't have to call us. You don't have to contact us. Everything works out of the box. And you'll have access to the same features that you have access to on public chains, meaning APIs, dashboards, smart wallets, and Zapier. So some quick examples, use cases, like I mentioned earlier, you could do loyalty programs with ticketing, Fidget items, pulling Oracle data about real estate, gaming. Really, the possibilities are endless. Our goal is to really push Web3 adoption. And for that, we need to build products that are familiar to users so that they're easily onboarded, but they also have the power of Web3, which is non-custody, having a decentralization, and also the interoperability across apps. So if we're integrating your rollup, here we have a quick screenshots, but we'll also do a demo on our dashboard. You can just log into our platform, create a team and a project, and then add a custom network. So this is the one key differentiator of our platform. The single crypto transactions you'll have to do is when you're launching a custom network, you'll have to fund our ERC 4337 relayer. And most providers, for example, like Caldera, will give you a faucet where you can just get some free testnet ETH when you're doing testnet, of course. Otherwise, you can bridge a little and deposit there. And then if your app rollup scales, you can, of course, always contact us, and we can find a solution to sponsor more and more transactions. But this is the idea to get you started in developing as soon as possible. Like I said, you can also leverage our no-code dashboard to create projects and create collections and then start building quickly. So I think now is a good time to take a pause between from the slides and show you guys how this works live. If there are any questions, I don't know if I can take questions during the workshop or at the end, Josh.
Yeah, you can take them whenever. I would say that if you're on YouTube,
Cool.
please drop them in the chat. We can put them up on the screen.
Cool. So in the meantime, I'll share my screen. Okay. I will share my entire screen. Boom, boom. All right. So I hope you guys can see my screen.
We're a little wide. It's kind of hard to see.
All right. Well, is this good? Stable?
Yeah, it's in a wide screen, like a wide screen, so it's going to be hard to see on the stream.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it. I can make it like this.
Yeah, and then share the window maybe. I think that would be.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it. All right, so let me stop sharing. Is this better?
Perfect. Yeah, a lot easier to see. Thank you.
Got it. Perfect. So right now I'm in the OWL protocol dashboard. So you can create various teams and add various projects. It's very modular. Like if you're working with various people, you can have different teams. Here I have a project for the Celestia workshop. So this workshop is is set up right now on the OWL protocol testnet, the Hedwig testnet. But later on, I'll try to show you a demo on a custom Rollup with that kind of slide I showed you where you can add a custom network. So this is kind of my project dashboard, and you can see I have various collections. So a very simple thing to do is we can create a collection here, and I can call it just like my collection. Let's just call it my call. And you'll notice like I don't have to upload a banner image if you like, and very quick without having to need any gas, I'll be creating a collection. So this takes a little bit of time because it's a production network, but my collection has been deployed here, and I can mint items. Now, what I want to show you is I've already deployed a collection here, which is called Eventbrite multi-ticket savior. So in this demo, we have an NFT collection, and we have 3 types of items, right? So we have regular tickets, golden tickets, platinum tickets. And these are going to map to the different tickets I created on my Eventbrite page. So here on Eventbrite, I have our demo project with for my guests, and I created 3 classes of tickets. Now the question is, how do we connect these? So one key thing to note on our protocol is you have this API key. So right now it's hidden, but you can copy this, and you can use this for programmatic usage through our API or through various plugins. Now, let's go to Zapier. So Zapier, if you're not familiar with it, let me share back the slides maybe. Is there a way we can move the slides? Show the slides? Okay, perfect. So if you're not familiar with Zapier, as a brief introduction, I just want to give a quick intro for those that might be not familiar. Zapier is a very popular low-code solution that has over 6,000 plugins. So you can connect things like not just Eventbrite, but GitHub. So you can mint like NFTs, for example, or some other digital asset for how many commits people make, or how many pull requests they close. You can connect Stripe or Squarespace for like e-commerce. So or a CRM like HubSpot if you're tracking customer relationships. There's various different solutions that you can connect very quickly. So what we're going to do now is I've created a Zap, and this will trigger based on our Eventbrite action. So coming back here to Zapier, I've created a Zap here. And you'll notice initially I create a Zap here that says it's connected. So if I click Edit Zap, so this will be Well, I'm editing my Zap, right? This is the interface that I see when I'm interacting with Zapier. And if I click my Zap here, there's different events I can use. So I could, for example, instead of doing a trigger based on people subscribing to my event by like buying a ticket, I could also do it based off of check-in. So when a user checks in, or some other trigger, and based on the app that you connect, you'll have different triggers. So here, this is we've built a more advanced example. So a very simple example would be simply minting NFTs based off of tickets. But here we have different classes of tickets. So one thing we want to do is we've set up path rules. So these path rules enable filtering the the trigger based off of the type of ticket, so that we can then match it to the various templates that we've created on our protocol. So here you'll see there's one for the regular ticket, there's one for the gold ticket, and then another one for the platinum ticket. And finally here, again, low code, we connected the our protocol application. Now, right now, this isn't published publicly, but if you go to our docs, there is an invite link that is accessible to all. So you can have access to this pretty quickly. The app is currently under review, but you can start using it today. And once you connect it, you'll add your API key here there's going to be a button here that says connect the app. And we picked the Mint ERC 721 event, which is simple ERC 721 mint. So we have our account connected here. And then finally, I want to go through this. This is the kind of where the pudding is made, which is all the different fields you can input. So our original NFT is launched on our testnet, so that's 133, but you could input here your own custom chain ID once you've added it to our protocol, right? So that's the first step. So that's slightly more advanced, but we'll go through that right after. Our collection address, and then here we're pulling the email of the user. So one key feature of our protocol, like I mentioned earlier, is we leverage account abstraction, but also smart wallets. And our API can automatically generate and resolve email addresses to wallets for users. So this enables very quick onboarding. Now, if you had a form or some other solution that supports like an address, this too could also be a regular Ethereum address, right? So either works. Here we have a token template ID. So what that is essentially a set of base metadata that we're going to pre-fill. So essentially, if I go here into my collection, you'll notice I created like multiple 3 types of items: regular ticket, gold ticket, and platinum ticket. And I uploaded the image, and I didn't add any attributes. But what we're going to do is in the Zap itself, we're going to add an attribute, because the template is just a fixed set of metadata, right? So any gold ticket will always have the image. So we don't need the image field here, because Eventbrite doesn't give us an image. So we just upload it on our protocol and just use the template ID. But if we wanted to, we could also have an input form or something like that that generates like an image URL, and the image could also be dynamically generated. That's also a possibility. And we've decided to add custom attributes. So by default, we propose these kind of simple attributes, but you can also add custom attributes. So here we're adding when the ticket is created. So this is kind of the general setup of our Zap, and you can see how it's kind of very kind of low code. You can stack multiple of these. You can add various different. You could add something else in Eventbrite. And finally, let's actually buy a ticket, right? So let's reserve a spot here. Let's buy let's go platinum, and then reserve a spot. There we go. And so I'm going to buy a ticket so I already bought a ticket. I mean, this would also work, but what I want to show you is also that accounts can be generated on the fly. I'm logged in. All right, I'll just use my email. I can use a custom email here. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to use my colleague Oscar's email. So I inputted my colleague Oscar's email, and I'm buying a ticket. I'm going to get my ticket. All right. And so here in the next couple of minutes, what's happening is that Eventbrite is going to trigger our Zap. The Zap is going to select which path to use. So in this case, it's going to be the Platinum ticket. And then the Zap will call the OWL protocol API and mint a new ticket. We can also monitor this through the Zapier UX. So under the Zap Runs tab or Zap History here, we can see when our Zap triggers. So this is an old one. Refresh. Okay, so you'll notice like we had this this ticket trigger worked, right? So sometimes it might trigger errors based off of like Eventbrite might not always give the email initially, but once the once the email is updated, it will trigger the mint, right? So this is not really an issue. This is just ignored. But this triggered our mint you see at 8:48 p.m. And we can also view this on our Block Explorer, courtesy of Caldera. So this is, I'm on the Block Explorer. I have the add collection ID of our collection. And if we're looking at the Block Explorer, you'll see, it should see, wait, am I on the right collection? I know this is I'm on the wrong collection. Give me a sec. There we go. So this is an old example that I have single ticket. Yeah, so see here we can see that this token was minted. And so this Block Explorer is courtesy of is powered by Caldera's Block Scout. And so we can see that our token was minted. And finally, OWL protocol also indexes the token on the dashboard. So if we refresh here, refresh our collection. The screen share is slowing down a little bit, the loading. But if we refresh here, you can see Oscar received his platinum ticket. So up. All right, so this was kind of a very simple example with our Zapier triggers and using our API. Of course, if you want to build more complex interactions, you can use the API programmatically as well via simple REST API SDK, or we also support TRPC for those that use TypeScript. So I think we can take a small break for Q&A, and if we have time, I can show a demo with a custom rollup. It takes a little bit of time to set up on Caldera, but I think maybe it's a good time to take any questions.
I don't see any in the chat, but I do have some myself. Thank you for the demo. That was really cool. What are some things that you would like to see built with OWL protocol?
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
My headphones are kind of.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Sorry, I had audio issues.
No,
I hope my audio was coming through though.
Yeah, it was the whole time. Good. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. All
so,
right. Yeah.
Hey, there's nothing in the chat, but I am curious myself. Like ticketing is a really cool use case, but I'm curious, like, what you'd like to see built with OWL protocol. It seems like you could.
Yeah, great question. Good. What was your question? Yeah, it seems like you could do just anything, right?
Yeah.
So ticketing was a kind of simple example that is kind of people are familiar with. But what we want to enable is think about experiences that are more recurring, right? Because I think a big issue we have in Web3 today is that users will log into some Web3 platform, mint some NFT or mint some token, and then they won't really come back, right? They won't necessarily, it's like very, especially when we look at comparatively to Web2 platforms, right? People are checking into Instagram every day. So what we'd like to see is people come up with various use cases that encourage kind of loyalty, people signing back in every day, every month, or gamification, right? Those are whether it's in a game or in some type of product. And this can be, you can launch something very quick through Zapier, but then you can also build more complexity in the future with the API. And so We also want to push users to devs to build very smooth experiences. So this is why you'll have noticed most of the UX is kind of gasless. The only requirement for like crypto is like when you're setting up a custom rollup. Yeah. I guess anything else?
Yeah, I guess
Should we
I'm
do a quick?
curious
Yeah.
to hear from you. Like you mentioned, like Instagram as an example of something that has user retention and people like log in every day. I'm curious what the most Web 2 combination you could think of using OWL protocol that could be built, but that still has like a crypto use case.
Yeah. Yeah. The most comment that will return retention. I mean, right now, one thing we're looking at is simple loyalty programs, because we also want to keep the barrier low, right? Like if I were to say like, hey, build a new social network, there are people that are building like dedicated full-on protocols for that. What we're seeing ourselves as a platform is a dev tool, and also eventually kind of explorer/app marketplace. So I like to say we're building kind of like the Xcode right now until you get the App Store for Web3, right? And so loyalty seems simple enough for Web2 devs to build, because in my view, a reason that why Web3 UX is is not the best is there's technological limitations, but it's also the amount of developers is is not that big. And so we want to encourage kind of people that don't know much about Web3 to build kind of fantastic front end, and then they don't have to worry too much about the infra or the smart contracts. So loyalty is very interesting, especially because we've seen this like have a certain amount of success with like Starbucks. Like Starbucks has the Web3 loyalty program on Polygon, and that had significant user base. It's not like at the level of Instagram, but it's still a good proof of concept in my opinion. So loyalty is a big one. So build something like we did today, but where like you track check-ins, for example, and track the amount of check-ins, the total amount of check-ins. That could definitely be something you could build, right? So not just like I get an NFT for an event, but like if I check in multiple times, I unlock certain tiers and then certain rewards, and then maybe third parties can plug into that or something like that.
Nice. Yeah, that's really cool. I don't have
and then roll-ups are a big part of this as well. Yeah. Go ahead. No more questions. Cool.
Yeah, you can go on that if you want. I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, I think rollups are a big part of it. This is why we've built this kind of native support, is that in my view right now, we're in the kind of early burgeoning stages of rollup adoption, where we have, I would say like if you look track the history of blockchain, you had kind of Bitcoin, very slow, kind of mostly like single application for money. Then you had Ethereum, where you program things, but it was like slower and expensive, especially once you got like a lot of people using it. Then we've got like L2s, like Polygon. L2s are cheap, but they're not as cheap as they used to, because now there's a lot of people using them as well. And rollups really provide, I think, that kind of infinite scalability. I know it's a meme at this point. And I think the trigger, like rollups are now, I would say about a year old, if you think like the early rollups. But the difference with today is we have kind of data availability solutions like Celestia that make it even cheaper, but also infra provider, rollup as a service providers that make it very easy to launch these. So if I'm an enterprise, I want to dedicate chain for my project, I can launch a rollup quickly. There's no real difference between like rollup and app chain, might be at this point, right? It's more like launch a rollup. You might be the first only app there first, but then like your partners might join you, right? And so that's kind of the key narrative in my view. And where OWL protocol situates itself is we don't deal with the rollup infra. Like we let other people that are specialized in that, but we let you just like add your RPC and just fund our relayer, and then you're good to go. And then if your rollup really scales, we can start deploying dedicated infra for that rollup. Essentially like we have kind of a two-tiered system. Like if you're a public chain, you get like more bandwidth than like if you're just kind of like in dev mode. But that's kind of the thesis. We want to enable every rollup to leverage this tooling, because usually you have like this specific framework that you really like, specific like infra provider that's doing like indexing, for example, but it doesn't work on your custom chain. And then like to get that set up, you have to like, I don't know, get some partnership with them and call them. It's like, that's not a solution that's scaled, especially for like smaller projects, right? Like, you want like, some huge AA solution to work on like a big chain that has a lot of funding, they'll work. But like, if I'm kind of more mid-tier, I don't have those contacts, it's not going to work. So our self-serve solution kind of works very quickly.
I guess that might be a good.
All right, I think that's good for now. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think that might be a good segue into showing us how to add a custom chain or a custom rollup.
Yeah, of course, yeah, definitely. Let's do that. So I wasn't sure if we had time, but let's do that.
We can
So
go another half hour if you want.
sorry.
We can go another half hour if you want. We don't have to, but
All
we
right.
got.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Let's try this. So let me share my window again. So this will be a good way to showcase everything from start to finish. So right now I'm on Caldera, but you could use any solution you want. So you'll notice this is a different chain than the one we use. So we use the official protocol Hedwig testnet, but I just created like 10 minutes ago a new custom chain, right? And so I have my RPC endpoints, and this is like all you need. You need RPC endpoints. Doesn't matter what provider you use or your own rollup. That's all that matters. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Owl Protocol dashboard. And I have so I'm going to join my team, right? So this is the Celestia workshop project I had created. And right now our configuration is we have one project per chain. We might add ability to do multi-chain for projects, but right now we want to keep things simple for users. So I'm just going to create a new project. And I'm going to call it like, workshop custom chain. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a custom network, right? So you'll notice here you have all the public blockchains that are available. So these are some public chains we've deployed. We'll deploy on a couple more as people ask us to. But the downside of these is you need a little bit. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of time, but you still need to reach someone on our team. Here I'm going to add my custom chain. So I'm going to copy my endpoints here. So I have my RPC URL. I'm going to say like workshop chain. I'm going to copy my my chain ID, which is here. Sorry. So one thing to note is when you do this, your chain is only accessible. I mean, the RPC is public, but the chain itself on the Owl Protocol infrastructure is only accessible within your team. We have to do this for security purposes because if I could launch like some shady node on this if I wanted to. So right now it's scoped to your team, but then you can build your thing, test if it works out, and then you can contact us, and then we can make it as a public chain as well, right? So this is because like I could launch something with like chain ID 1, for example. So right now we just don't want public chains. Like fake public chains, if you will. But this works with everyone on your team will have access to this. So this is an ETH native on OP stack. And then we can also add our, the Explorer isn't live yet. Let's see. Okay, nice. So we can also add our Block Explorer link, right? So this is deployed by, if you have a Block Explorer, this is optional. So I'm going to create network. Yeah. All right. Perfect. So now you'll notice the chain is accessible here. And so now it's creating the network. So this takes a little bit of time to set. Let me see. Sorry. Sometimes you might have to refresh because it hasn't loaded your chain yet. So you'll notice, so we have these two addresses. So let me check. We have. So one thing to understand deeper how our protocol works is we have a gas tank address and a relay address. The only thing you have to worry about is the gas tank address. This is essentially just an address that stores whatever native token your chain is using. On public networks, we fund this. On testnets, this is free. On mainnets, you get some free. Once we launch on mainnets, you'll have some free credits, and then we'll charge you in fiat based on your expense. The gas tank is a gas tank essentially, and then the relay is what submits the transactions, the ERC 4337 transactions. But really, the only thing you have to worry about is the gas tank. Okay. Yeah. So we're getting an error here, but the reason is we recently reduced the threshold, the minimum amount that you have to fund. So it is funded. I checked on the blockchain. So please, ignore this error for now. We'll update this. But so this you'll notice the gas tank is funded right now. And I had my colleague just fund it in the background just to speed things up a little bit. But essentially, you can take funds here from the faucet that Caldera gives you, and then deposit those onto that address. And so now I can create a collection. My collection. Boom. And then this should deploy as we watch. All right, and so you'll notice there's a transaction that was sent from the gas tank, right? And so this is kind of diving a bit more deep into how our protocol works under the hood. So this is kind of the first transaction that sets up your the our protocol stack, which will fund the relayer and deploy all core contracts required for our protocol. So it's not working. Give me a sec. Sorry. Let me try again. It seems there was a little bit of a bug.
The collection type.
So I think the issue is it's not funded enough.
I see.
I think yeah, I got spent. Okay, one sec. I don't want to spend too much time on this right now because it's. I think I need to fund it with more ETH. But essentially, once you fund it with the gas tank, all of this should work smoothly. We reduced it too low. Let me see. Okay. We have a tutorial online that shows how to do this. I believe right now you got to fund it with like 1 ETH. It's kind of the minimum. So if we can go on the faucet right now. Access the faucet. This is going to take a little time. So essentially, we have a tutorial online that you can follow. And the only step you have to do is fund the gas tank with 1 ETH. And that will enable you to deploy the NFTs and do all the same interactions we just did earlier on your custom chain. It does take a little bit more time. So that's why we did on the public testnet. But everything is standardized, essentially. Cool. I think we can end things here. Unless if there's any more questions from the public.
There are not. I don't see any on Twitter either. Double check that. I have to ask though. I'm assuming you're a Harry Potter fan. Is Hedwig a reference?
Yeah. It's a Harry Potter fan, and it's also like we're work pretty late, so we're pretty night owls. So that's kind of the theme
Makes sense.
of our company. Awesome. All right.
Was there another slide that you wanted to get to?
We can go. Yeah, we can go to I think it was mostly Q&A at the end. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
You can follow our docs and you can join our Discord. This is our Discord link, and also we have a Discord in the Hackathon Discord. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask us.
Great. Sounds like Discord is the place to ask questions about our protocol. I want to thank you again, Leo, for showing us the really cool demos. And I look forward to seeing people build with our protocol.
Awesome. And we'll also be sharing a write-up of this video later today. So on Medium and on our docs. So that should also enable kind of a more for those that prefer reading over videos.
Yeah, awesome. I like the double media format.
Yeah.
Have a good one, everybody.
All right. Have a great day, everyone. And good luck with that hackathon.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.